Mariners win 5-2. They take the first game of the 3-game series against the Cardinals. They end their 3-game losing streak. They improve to 9-11 on the season. Let's talk about how it happens. Second inning, with a couple of runners on, Jordan Walker doubles to second base. We will be talking about that play. Makes it 2-0. Bottom of the second, Jared Kelenic singles in Teoscar Hernandez, who we will definitely be talking about. Makes the score 2-1. Fourth inning, Hernandez destroys a baseball to center field to make it 2-2. Mariners score a few more runs. Jared Kelenic hits a sacrifice fly to make it 5-2. I have no idea why my score sheet automatically jumped to 5-2, but that's okay. A bunch of stuff happened in between, including a Jared Kelenic double that scored a couple of runs to make it 4-2. That's what I was missing. Live. We don't edit. We do not edit. That was weird. I used the ESPN score sheet, and all of a sudden a sacrifice fly turned a 2-2 game into a 5-2 game. Whatever. AJ Pollock, big 2-run double to make it 4-2. Kelenic gets that sac fly to make it 5-2 to score Teoscar Hernandez again. Mariners hold. Really good job by the bullpen tonight. Hold the Cardinals offense. That is a very impressive lineup, but struggling a little bit right now. Scoreless after those 2 runs to get the win. And I understand when people struggle to say something is a big win in late April, barely late April, technically late April, it's the final third of April. I think this was after how they played. I heard Scott Service say that he thinks they played well against Milwaukee. They just didn't get clutch hits. I agree with half of that. They did not play well against Milwaukee. I admire the fact that he is sticking up for his dudes, but he's not telling you the full truth there. They did not play well against Milwaukee. They did not. They had some good moments against Milwaukee, but they didn't play well. No. Yeah, no, you don't get to get away with that one. I guess you're getting away with it because there's no consequence to it, but that is not accurate. They did not play well against Milwaukee. They played well tonight. Let's start with some negatives. I kind of like finishing with the positive on wins. Okay. Teoscar Hernandez. That ball should be caught. Somebody sent me a tweet after I said I'd like my right fielder to catch that ball and told me that there was a 37% catch probability according to StatCast. Bullcrap. Absolutely not. That ball has to be caught. And there have been some moments for Teoscar Hernandez defensively that I warned everyone about. It's not, and I'm not alone by any stretch of the imagination with this. There were some moments that were not good. There have not been good defensively. And there have been moments throughout his career defensively that have not been good. That ball should be caught. That ball should be caught. We'll talk about him offensively and how good he was and all of that stuff. But you have to take the bitter with the better. And there was some bitter tonight. This should have been a shutout. This should have been a shutout. Luckily, they scored 5 runs, so it doesn't matter. But it is just another thing that I'm a little concerned about. Another thing that I'm a little bit concerned about. Other negatives, Ty France played terribly tonight. Bad baseball game for him. And, it's tough to complain too much about a guy who's hitting 300 with a 380 on base percentage and a 450 slugging percentage. Last time I checked, led baseball in doubles. He was horrible tonight. Really bad. Really, 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 really bad game from him. Actually made a couple of decent defensive plays on a couple of picks. So, that's good. But offensively, he was awful. Awful, awful, awful. And the last negative, Tom Murphy just looks lost. And if Cal Raleigh is healthy, I don't care about Tom Murphy's lefty splits. Cal Raleigh needs to play every day for not just the betterment of this team in 2023, but the betterment of his career long term. I saw some people pointing out that he's not as good against left-handed pitching as he is against right-handed pitching. And that's fair. He's got more power with his left-handed swing for sure. But I think it's worth pointing out that in his limited time as a full-time player last year against left-handed starters, he had an OPS above 800, well above 800. It's not like he can't hit right-handed. but I don't think he's healthy. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're giving him some times off. He's been beat to you know what, and he did have off-season thumb injury surgery, and I think it's still bugging him. So that's my pass here. But Tom Murphy needs to be the clear backup. This cannot be a platoon. It can't. He's not as good as Cal Raleigh. He's just not. He is just not as good as Cal Raleigh. And that is more compliment to Raleigh than it is insult to Murphy. But it's starting to become an insult. This dude's hitting .077. I don't care that it's April 21st. He looks, the eye test tells me that he's lost right now. And unfortunately, it's going to be tough for him to get it back if he's not playing every day. Being a backup catcher is really hard because you're usually getting 1 or 2 starts a week at most. And it's tough to get that timing back. Being a bench baseball player is hard. Being a backup catcher is really difficult. Really difficult because they are not calling on you very often, usually. And in this case, he shouldn't be called on very often. He's not doing the job. He has looked awful. Awful. There's no sugarcoating this. He has been a bad baseball player over these first 20 games. 140 games to get it right? Sure. Nothing I've seen from him suggests that this is going to be well enough. And everything I saw from Cal Raleigh last year, and for the most part this year too, tells me he's just a much better baseball player. This should not be a platoon. I'm not even suggesting that it is per se, but it shouldn't be. All right, the positives, and there's quite a few tonight. George Kirby was great. One of my favorite starts that he's had. Yeah, the Cardinals are not exactly playing up to expectations right now, but he should have thrown a shutout against a team that has a couple of guys who are going to compete for the Hall of Fame, some really good young players, one of the more complete 1 through 9 lineups, I think, in baseball. He was excellent. Excellent. No player had more than 1 hit against him. In fact, he just allows the 3 hits. And one of them shouldn't have been a hit. One of them should have been caught. Kirby absolutely should have had a shutout tonight. Was really impressed with what he did. Bullpen was great tonight. Great, great, great. Gott was good. I was helped out by a very impatient lineup. In fact, I'm looking here. The bullpen threw a total in 3 innings of 31 pitches. Okay. All right. Thanks. Justin Topah was good. Made a really nice play and then struck out a couple of guys. I cannot tell you how impressed I've been with Topah and Spire. Just look, for as frustrated as I can be with one Gerard DePoto, he has done a great job, him and his staff. Justin Hollander deserves credit as well, of finding guys that fit this pitching staff really well. And I don't think that you can understate just how good they've been early on and how important it has been for them to be good early on because of the Andres Munoz thing. For those who are unaware, Munoz is going to throw a live BP session early next week and then go on a rehab assignment with Tacoma. So it sounds like he'll be back at some point late next week, maybe earlier, but it shouldn't be too much longer. It's big. That guy's just really good. But Topah has to be a part of this bullpen when he comes back. I mean, it's pretty obvious that they just send down the 13th man. I can't even remember who the hell that is right now. Apologies for swear number 3, and that was super unnecessary. And then Paul Sewald was totally good. We'll point out that Goldschmidt did swing through some fastballs that he normally hits pretty far, but got the job done. Got the job done and then some. A real positive from this game was the last play of the game. J.P. Crawford made a ridiculously good play to get that final out. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see for Crawford. I love the getting on base stuff. Obviously, that's great. I think he has the highest on base percentage on this team right now. He's tied with Ty France at 380. I want to see more of that. I want to see more diving plays that take away hits. It's great to make the plays that are hit right at you, as you guys heard me scream about last time. It's great to do that, but it's also not what makes good defense. What makes good defense is stuff like that, taking away hits, taking away opportunities. That's what defense is supposed to do. That's what makes a good defense. An average defense is the guys who can just make the play when it's hit to you. But the good defenses take away those opportunities, and it was nice to see tonight. Offensively, look, I complained about the lack of catch. Teoscar Hernandez did actually make one nice catch. I don't think he got a great jump on the baseball, but you saw that it's not athleticism with Teoscar. That is not the issue. It's not a question of him having this is not Mike Morse in left field. This is not that case. This is a case of he just doesn't get great jumps on the baseball. But he did make one nice play, and he was just ridiculous with the bat. Just ridiculous. He goes 2 for 3 with a double, 3 runs scored, a homer, a walk, and even his strikeout. Because he's hustling to first base, he creates a little bit of confusion. We'll say the Cardinals handled that situation about as poorly as possible. With runners on second and third. Hernandez strikes out. Ball gets past the catcher. The catcher throws home because they think Julio is going. That was not handled well at all. That kind of looked like the Mariners against the Guardians in the early part of the season. But Hernandez was outstanding at the plate today. So good and so nice to see. Like, he's hitting 256, 298, 449. Not good. But I will take it after how bad he was, and there's no doubt in my mind those offensive numbers are going to be just fine. AJ Pollock with a very nice double on a very terrible pitch from Drew Verhagen. I don't care. Great to see him drive the baseball. AJ Pollock's really important for this team right now. And I will have to say, one of my favorite decisions Scott Service made in this game was leaving Pollock in to hit after they brought in Verhagen. Look, you had LaStella on the bench. You had Hummel on the bench. You had Colton Wong on the bench. You absolutely made the right call sticking with Pollock in that situation. He's a better hitter than those guys right now, which is weird to say about a guy who, even after that hit, is hitting 129, 200, 355. But he has a track record of offensive success and some track record against righties too. Last year was terrible against right-handers, and he was really good against lefties. He's hit righties fine in his career before. I think he should be playing every day right now. Do I think it's perfect? No. But do I think he's their best option as a designated hitter right now? Yep, I absolutely do. Jared Kelenic drives in a couple of runs. Does probably on his sac fly, probably should have driven that ball about 50 feet further. But he gets the job done and does a real nice job of getting that single to get them on the board after giving up 2 runs. Just cannot overstate how impressed I've been with Kelenic to begin this series. Jose Caballero gets a hit, does a nice job at second base. Just a good, solid win. Solid. Nice to see. One of their more complete games I think they've played in 2023. Great to see after the struggles against Milwaukee that they bounce on back and get off to a nice start for the series. It's winning the first games of series is big because it almost assuredly guarantees you a chance at the end of the series to win it. And at worst, in those 4-game series, it gives you a chance to tie it. Tomorrow we have Luis Castillo going against Miles Michaelis. Michaelis has looked awful. Luis Castillo has not. Very winnable game. Very, very, very winnable game. And a game that I would like to win because I do not love Chris Flexen against those bats. Nope, that is not a matchup that I think is in their favor whatsoever. Jack Flaherty's okay. He's not the pitcher that he was a few years ago because of injuries and stuff. So they could score some runs in that game. But nothing I've seen from Flexen, for the most part, as a starter, suggests that that's going to go well. Okay, I wanted to close with this. So the City Connect uniforms have been leaked. And I wanted to give my thoughts on them. I think they're fine. I'm not going to link them because I know some people, even I was kind of like, I don't really want to be spoiled by this. But I couldn't help myself, and I looked. The only thing I will say about the uniforms is, well, I'll say a couple things. They're kind of boring. They're not flashy at all. For some people, that's going to be great. If you're a traditional dude, that's fine. I kind of like flashy, especially for stuff like this. It's why I love those Padres uniforms so much. Now, I wasn't expecting Seattle to go that crazy, but they're pretty boring. They're pretty boring. They also, okay, without spoiling things again, they also appear to be paying tribute to the Seattle Pilots. And I know it's not just that because, look, based on that, you probably know how I'm wearing the hat with the color scheme. We know that blue and gold or blue and yellow, however you want to say it, is not limited to the Seattle Pilots. However, I think paying tribute to the Seattle Pilots, if that's truly what they're doing, is stupid. The Seattle Pilots were here for 1 year and hated being here so much that they left, and we literally, the city of Seattle, literally had to sue Major League Baseball to get the Mariners. I don't really get paying tribute to them if that's what they're doing. Like, I get the retro stuff. That's what's popular. Nostalgia is super popular. It's why a lot of people love Family Guy, is they love the nostalgia and they think that pointing out something that happened equals comedy or equals cool. I like some nostalgic stuff. I like old school stuff. But paying tribute to the Seattle Pilots is weird, man. Like, this is a franchise that we should, like, not hate, but at best pay no regard to. They didn't want to be here. They literally left after 1 year. I don't really get paying tribute to that. I'm cool with paying tribute to the old school Mariners, you know, Alvin Davis, all that stuff. That's cool. The Pilots? And maybe I have the read wrong, but uh, I don't get it. They literally left after 1 year and hated the moments that they were here. For a lot of reasons, one of them being that stadium was a hunk of junk. Seattle's a tough place to play in the cold. But, you know, for all the problems that there's a lot of things that Slade Gordon and I disagree on. I'm very thankful for him helping that lawsuit happen, because the Seattle Mariners do not exist without that lawsuit. They literally, and I've said literally a bunch tonight, literally only exist because of a lawsuit. So I think the color scheme's fine. I think the design's fine. There's one particular thing that I really like that it sounds very similar to the name of this YouTube channel, and I love that. Miss you, Dave. I don't know. I am closer to disappointed than super excited, but I don't hate him. The hat has not been revealed. The hat's going to be big for me. As you know, I wear a hat every time. By the way, I said I was going to shave. I decided to keep this for the Kraken. Just my playoff beard, baby. Oh, what a golden opportunity they blew. Huh. But now 2 games at home. I'm excited. Wish I could go, but have to work. And also I am not rich. So yeah. Please hit like, please hit subscribe at Crawford_MILB on Twitter. They took my blue check mark away, but I'm still there, baby. Patreon.com/MLB prospect guides, prospect updates every single weekday, and sending out guides for the top 20 prospects in the system. Really appreciate you guys checking them out. Yeah, what do you guys think? Let's not go too crazy. I do think that I don't want to go spoilerific because there are people who don't want to see what these look like yet. But if you've seen them, what do you think? I think they're okay. I'm giving them a 50 on the 20/80 scale, but I'm giving this win today a good 60. That was plus.